This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
Let's play Beat Migs.
It's time to play the game.
Yeah!
So everybody scream his name. Beat Migs. Don't be a loser. Whoa! Beat Migs. You're a loser.
It is time to beat Migs, and it's time to pump it up from under. Pump it up.
Pump
Yeah,
it up.
get all pumped up. Hopefully you had a fun weekend, and you can just have those memories to get you through the rest of the week.
All right.
I mean, that's about all I got. Let's get to our contestant. We've got Casey in Puyallup. Casey, are you there?
Yes, sir. Pump it up. Pump it up.
Pump it up! Nice.
Turtles!
Whoa! Wow. I was very excited there. All right, Steve, get out of here. For those playing at home, Casey will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Casey, you can pass all you want, but you will only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Nice. During which inning is Take Me Out to the Ball Game traditionally sung?
7th inning.
Yes. What is the last movie that James Cameron directed?
Pass.
What year did Kobe Bryant retire?
2016.
No.
17.
No.
15.
No. What did you? Did you say 15 twice?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
In American Psycho, which band does Patrick Bateman obsess over?
Killers.
No.
Pass on that one.
Steve Carell voiced the character Gru in what movie franchise?
Despicable Me.
Yes. What type of animal is Napoleon in George Orwell's novel Animal Farm?
Cat.
No.
Dog.
No.
Lorlax.
No. Which actor is known as the Fonz?
Jack. Ben Affleck.
No. Oh, no.
Man.
Well,
Terrible.
Yeah, Casey, tell me the guesses you said for the year Kobe Bryant retired again.
15, 16, 17.
Okay, you did say 16. That is one of those, so I will give that one to you there. I thought you said 15 twice, and that was confusing. Yeah, it helped out a little bit. You got 3 correct. So it's not the worst score in the world.
No deuce dropping.
No deuce. You avoided the deuce, so good job on that. Don't want to drop a deuce on a Monday.
Yeah, but still, I feel like it's going to be a tough one for Casey.
Oh yeah. I don't think you really have a chance, but I mean, you got to you got to maintain the integrity of this game.
Wow.
And
I was kind about it, but you're like, you know what? Go for the throat.
you got to tell it like it is sometimes.
Oh, really? All right.
Oh yeah, that's what a great host does. Steve, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
During which inning is Take Me Out to the Ball Game traditionally sung?
To the ball. 7th inning.
Yes. What is the last movie that James Cameron directed?
Is it... What the hell is it? The Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No.
What the hell? Avatar.
Yes.
Avatar.
What year did Kobe Bryant retire?
2015?
No.
2016.
Yes. In American Psycho, which band does Patrick Bateman obsess over?
American Psycho movies. Metallica.
No.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No.
Prince.
No. Steve Carell voiced the character Gru in what movie
Oh,
franchise?
good movie. Despicable Me.
Oh, crap, you watched that one.
I love that movie.
What type of animal is Napoleon in George Orwell's novel Animal Farm?
Pig.
Yes. What actor is known as the Fonz?
Henry Winkler.
Yes. Which country won the first Women's World Cup?
America.
Yes.
Yes.
Lake Tahoe is located in which 2 states?
Utah and Nevada.
No.
Utah and California.
No.
Nevada and California.
Yes. What sign are you if you were born on Labor Day?
You're a Pisces.
No. Steve, you win 8-3.
Yes.
Good job.
Sorry about that, Casey.
It's all good. I got rolled.
It's all good. I got rolled.
Try again someday, Casey.
Is that true?
He's better than everyone right now today.
Damn straight.
Maybe I'm just a bigger fan of American Psycho than anyone
Yeah,
else.
you are. You are very much a way too big fan.
2
of this.
questions in one morning.
Yeah, I think it's like Christian Bale's birthday, or maybe
Gotcha.
something about American Psycho.
Oh, and he doesn't do any other movies. Really, you're just going to psycho out for Christian Bale?
Well,
All right.
you know, I wasn't going to go with a deeper cut, and I do like American Psycho a lot. I read the book and watched the movie.
So that is what it is. This is your favorite. Okay.
Does anybody happen to know the band that he obsesses over?
Well, because
No,
we're not psychos that are American style like you.
well, that's not very nice.
Fat Boy Slim.
No, but it's actually a band that I really enjoy from the 80s, Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh,
Okay.
Drug.
Yeah, that's one of the songs, yes.
Good job, Steve.
It's kind of like that.
Might as well face. No, that's not him.
You're Addicted to Love yet? No, that's Robert Palmer.
Robert Palmer.
Yeah, dang it. Yeah, it's
Wow.
The Power of Love is the
Power of love.
That's the one. Thank you.
Dang it. What sign are you if you were born on Labor Day? I think 2 people in this room might know that one.
Virgo?
Yeah, you tell him, Vicky.
Yep,
Virgo.
it's Virgo. It's Virgo. So congratulations, Steve, on your win.
Thank you.
Nice going, Steve.
Champion.
All right, as you know, we like to really monitor Harvard because, at Harvard, we're brainy like they are. So when they come out with a study, we're all over it. Did they need to do this study at Harvard? Because here's what they concluded, that we're all pretty bad at knowing when and how to end a conversation.
Oh,
Do we need a study for this?
I mean, maybe some people are good at it. I know personally, I suck at it. I was just having that conversation both on social media and then also in person. Like, I just don't know when it's supposed to end.
When you were having that conversation, how did it end?
The person walked away from me in frustration.
Okay, there you go. It's
Like, Ted, where are you going?
Yeah,
How do you end talking?
How do I end a conversation about how to end a conversation? It turns out only 2% of the people that they interacted with in this study knew how to end conversations. Like, they ended them when both people wanted. Like, they somehow, some way, they just looked at each other and they knew, okay, it's time to end this conversation. Only 2% of the people know how to do that.
I had that happen one time where I was just like, someone was showing me something on their computer and they were just really into it, but it really made, I did not find it interesting at all, but I also didn't want to be rude. But I'm like, oh, cool. All right, well, cool. I gotta get, and then he goes, well, if you think this is cool, check this out. I'm like, I really didn't think it was cool.
No,
I thought it was
it's not.
pretty apparent that, like, it was kind of fading away. But I mean, I think we're all guilty of that probably at some point where you in your head, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, does this person even care about what I'm talking about?
Oh, totally.
And then I just shut it down and they're like, what else happened? I'm like, oh, I thought you were bored. I'm sorry.
Are you now here's something that I found people have told me. I've only done it a couple times, but they said, you know what, dude, this was life altering when you asked me this question. And these I only do with my really, really close friends. As they're in a conversation, I'll just look at them and I'll say, do you have any idea whether I give an F about what you're talking about right now? I mean, I literally say it that way.
Well, that's one way to end the conversation.
And they look at me and I always follow it up with, I'm not saying I don't or I do. I'm just asking, do you have any awareness of whether I do? Like, because when people are talking, and I've had to do this myself, you really don't have an awareness. You don't know if people care. Like, Steve, it sometimes is obvious, especially with, I think more so with women than I've seen with men. You can tell when a woman's done with a conversation. If you really pay attention and look at her face, you're like, oh yeah, she's way done with this. And yet so many people do not know this. They just don't know. They have no idea if people care.
I got to ask though, when those times that you've asked that question to somebody, did you care?
Oh, no, I was way out.
Yeah, because I don't think there's ever a time if you cared about the conversation you would ask that question.
Gosh,
I have some Wikipedia friends who are really, really smart, but they get into that droning mode where they basically go, let me tell you about this and that. And luckily I knew both of these folks who were up for sort of like, wanting to be better people. And so and Steve, one of these people. And I just, and I said, hey man, you gotta know. Do you know? And they really stop in their tracks. And I keep asking, I go, listen, I don't want to hear any more of what you have to say. I just want you to know. Answer that question. Do you know? And they look at you and it is just, they like that realization. They go, I have to be honest. I have no idea. And it's like, wow, it's great to be in a conversation with somebody who doesn't care if I'm listening or not. And that really, I tell you, it pumped the brakes on them. And they've both come up to me later in life and said, dude, I can't tell you how helpful that was, because I now start paying attention to see if people actually care about what I'm talking about. And they end up ending conversations a little earlier, which I think is merciful for many people.
Oh man, we need technology, like something that's like, I'm sure sometime in the future, like you'll start talking and it'll just something that goes across their forehead that just says, don't care. And then you can just move on to the next thing.
Wouldn't that be awesome if you just had that? That would be fantastic.
You know what's the ones I suck at small talk when you run into somebody or you're at a party and it's like, okay, my wife's in the bathroom. That's always whenever I go to my wife's friend's stuff, and they're all super nice, but like when she goes to the bathroom, it's like pure anxiety for me.
Oh,
I'm like,
yes.
Unless I know someone there, because there's now some of her friends that have become pretty good friends, and like I can easily just BS with them. I'm like, where's Tyler? I can talk to him. I know him, and I like having conversations with him. But sometimes you're just like, you'll get into this small talk with someone, and it's fun for a couple of minutes, and then you hit that wall where both of you are like, all right, now we're just awkwardly staring at each other. We had a good moment, but now it's over. And how do you get out of this? I'm just like, how long is it taking for it in the bathroom? Come on.
Oh, that's a beating, man. It would be nice if the two of you could just look at each other and go, dude, you're not much for this conversation. No. And then you're like, yeah, neither am I, but I'm sure you're a good guy, but let's just go our separate ways.
That was fun. See you later.
Yeah. Do you feel badly, though, being by yourself? Like when, you're at a place you don't know anybody and like she said, she's off to the bathroom? Because I feel bad being by myself. I feel like weird, like there's nobody around me. Oh, but I don't want to talk to people, but I also don't like being the guy standing there by himself.
As long as there's food to pick at, I don't care. It's true, though. Like, because then people come over to buy the food and you have something to talk about. Like, have you tried the strawberries? They're really good. And then they try them and they go on and do whatever they do. And now I try something else.
You're right, dude. The food is the best thing at all, because if anybody's up there, you can go, hey, man, what's that? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Food is like, hey, look at these, man. Look at that. Who could go wrong with that? Unless, of course, they go into this long story. Well, strawberries were first originated in the 1800s. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta be.
Did you know that strawberries aren't even actually berries?
Yeah, exactly. There's that guy.
I was one text says, try teaching the third grade. Kids have no clue when you care or not, and they just never stop talking.
So it starts that young, huh?
Yeah.
It starts that young.
Yeah, I don't know how many kids can pick up on social cues. They're just like, let me tell you more about my stuffed unicorn.
I was, when I did the seminars up in Canada with my buddy Satien, they used to give us like 4 or 5 people, and they would stand in front of us, and we had to have a conversation with all of them, but we had to keep them all engaged. And they would give us a pinch or something, like they push us or whatever, when all of a sudden they got bored. And your job was you had to try to keep them all engaged. And it was like a beat. I had so many bruises on my body. People just give me little punches, whatever, but nothing major. But
what a weird exercise to do.
Because it was an exercise in, do you know if people care? Especially when you're in a group conversation, and because a lot of times there are people you're not even paying attention to, but they stand there in the conversation and just die a little bit inside more and more. But the idea that they were given the permission to let the person know in some way, shape, or form, like, dude, you're boring me. That's a whole different seminar. But it was a fascinating exercise. I learned just quickly how boring I was. I have to tell you, man. And I have the bruises to prove it.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW. Hey, you got something to say? I got something to say. They're wild, rabid, and on the loose. This is Listeners on the Loose.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. It's Listeners on the Loose. You pick the topic. You guide the show. 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Listeners on the Loose. What is it you would like to speak about? We'll let you, but Steve does have a rule.
It's a simple rule, BJ, to show some energy and bring it. Otherwise, we'll hit that gong. And then we'll have to say goodbye to you.
Goodbye, old friend.
206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Kevin in Yelm, you are on the Rock.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not too bad, Kevin. What you got for us this morning, buddy?
Well, I just got a question for you guys. Like, if you go back in time and relive a concert or, a show that you guys, what would it be?
Ooh. Do you have one that you would love to go back and see?
Yes, actually, mine was, I think it was in 2008 at the Coors Amphitheater, and it was Lincoln Park.
Oh, wow.
All right. So basically, a show that you loved in your life, you go, I want to go back and replay that all over again.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
There was a Linkin Park show. I remember when they first became a band, but first started touring, they played the Showbox, and that was an insane show. And at that time, the Hybrid Theory record, I think either just came out or was about to come out. But you could just see that this band was just, they were poised for greatness because they were just incredible on stage, and Chester was just such a great frontman. For me, though, it had to be Faith No More. I think it was 97 or 98, and they played the Moore Theater. Oddly enough, Limp Bizkit opened for them, and I didn't even know who the hell Limp Bizkit was at that time. They were touring on their first record, but it was right at the height of when Faith No More as a band hated each other. They were about to break up, and you can tell on stage. There was so much negative tension, but it translated into such an aggressively awesome show. The whole band was just firing. They were going off. But, they were fighting on stage at times, but the crowd was insane. People were ripping chairs out of the Moore Theater's floor, and it was just chaos, man. It was one of my, as a longtime Faith No More fan, it was a pretty epic experience because, no pun intended on the epic line, but it was just so damn good. And I did not know at that time they were you got a vibe that they weren't going to probably last very long, but you didn't think they were going to break up. And luckily they've gotten back together since then. I've seen them again, but that was a show that I'll never forget.
Damn good show.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny?
Warped Tour 2005. That was the year. Yeah, the Offspring and MXPX and the Atari, Tsunami Bomb, Rancid. There was so many bands on that tour, and it was kind of the year that that was my senior year of high school. I had just graduated, and it was and we got to go down to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and see all those bands play, and it was just kind of the pinnacle of Warped Tour for me.
Yeah, I love all that. Actually, now that you brought up Warped Tour, Warped Tour, I think it was 2007 or 8 here. The White River Amphitheater?
Probably.
Yeah, man, that was such an amazing show. One of my favorite bands there that was playing was, I think it was Falling in Reverse.
That sounds awesome, dude. I think I was at that one too.
How about that?
Dude, when you bring up festival shows, I just thought about 1994. This is how long ago it was, but it was the Lollapalooza tour. And I think of you, Danny, because the first band playing on the main stage, the very first band. So that's a band that's an up and coming band.
Sure.
Green Day.
Oh yeah.
And then it was L7, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds,
man.
Tribe Called Quest, the Breeders, George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars.
Damn.
Then you had the Beastie Boys, Smashing Pumpkins headlining it. Yeah. And when I saw them, and I didn't know that she didn't do it on all the shows, but it was right around when Kurt was gone, and Courtney Love went up on stage with the Pumpkins for a second and started talking about some stuff, and it's looking back on it, that was such an insane show.
Yeah, that'll never happen again. And it's just one of those things that you just wish you could go and look at, watch again.
And I saw a bunch of and I think the Flaming Lips might have been on the second stage or even the third stage or something ridiculous. It was they were playing, and I mean, and the Flaming Lips have gone on to have these epically huge, live performances. They were just this little band playing in front of maybe 30, 40 people because, they were it was 1 in-the-afternoon. Nobody gave a crap. We were all there just to go see all the other bands, but they were so good. I remember they busted into She Don't Use Jelly, and I was like, this is awesome.
How about you, Rev? If you could go back and see a show, what would it be?
1996 at the Mercer Arena, the Life is Peachy tour for Korn. It was one of those ones where it was just the first time I was able to go see them live, and it was magical. Like Jonathan Davis going out there with his bagpipes, wearing the full sequined Adidas tracksuit.
Yep.
It was absolutely ridiculous. And when I was watching it, I didn't appreciate it so much because I was kind of dwelling on the fact that all of my friends hated Korn. So I just went by myself. And I was like, oh, no one wanted to go with me. But I still thought it was a great show. I want to go back and be able to relive it and actually enjoy it fully.
And maybe bring a friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, if we're allowed to change one aspect of it, I think for me it would be Tool when they performed at the Key Arena. Because I was 100% sober. No alcohol. I was too young, I think.
Oh, right.
So if I could relive it.
Was that the one where you took a nap in the suite?
No, that was Deftones, Alice in Chains, and Mastodon.
Took a nap during Mastodon?
Wow.
No, I fell asleep during Alice in Chains because it was really late at night and it was on a Friday. And I'd been up for like 24 hours at that point.
Don't forget it's Granny Vicky. You know how
okay,
it is,
Grandma.
Yeah. It was way past her bedtime.
It very much was.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You got one?
Do I have one? Yeah, and it's really, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's kind of lame, but I think because of all this coronavirus stuff, the thing that popped in my head was being able to go to Marymore Park, and there's a guy, Michael Franti at Spearhead, and it was a great rock funk band. But I was there with all my buddies, and it was just a summer breeze. You have a beverage, hang out with your buddies, and just, it just was like a summer feel, and I love that about that show. And I had a great time with my buds, and I would love to go back and experience that again.
See, with you, BJ, I would have figured it would have been that road trip with your daughter to go see Britney at the Gorge.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that again.
Britney at the Key Arena was definitely on my top 5 shows I'd like to.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh,
yeah. I'll tell you
the
this.
time I saw Christina Aguilera play at a high school, I wouldn't mind living that again. That was pretty hilarious.
At a high school?
Awesome.
The hot mom factor was insane, though. I will tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what Britney did or what she looked like, but everybody that went to the show was just ridiculous.
See, when my wife and I saw Britney Spears the last time she toured, I mean, we saw her in Vegas for a couple times at her residency, but when we saw her at the Tacoma Dome and Nicki Minaj opened, but one of the best parts about that show wasn't even the performance on the stage. It was a cosplaying event for every hot chick to dress as a different stage of Britney.
Oh, whoa! Really?
So like you had schoolgirl outfits, and then they had like the sexy snake thing.
Okay.
And nobody went with the shaved head rash on the hoo-ha.
Oh, they didn't do that one?
Phase, though.
That's one of my favorites.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
I was like, look, I'm Britney when she lost her mind.
Yeah.
I should have an umbrella in my hand. That would have been funny.
Yeah, really. And then you should probably just have I don't know.
I forgot about this. What a great call. The Alice in Chains Tsunami benefit concert at the Showbox. That was the show that brought Alice in Chains back together.
Oh.
Still didn't have a lead singer. And they did a show where they brought in like a cavalcade of frontmen. So they had Patrick Lackman from Damage Plan, who did some stuff with like the guys in Pantera. He's a great singer. He was there. But the craziness, Wes from Puddle of Mud, who did a really good job. The Hart Sisters and Nancy Wilson.
That's a show.
But then Maynard from Tool went up there and sang 2 songs with Alice in Chains, and it was Them Bones and Man in the Box. And I already got goosebumps just thinking about when he hits the high notes or like the chorus of Man in the Box. Like, dude, the whole room was just emotional.
That's insane.
Yeah, because you never thought Alice in Chains would play a show together again, and here they are.
And then there's Maynard.
And they got Maynard from Tool singing with them, and he nailed it, man.
Wow.
It was great. It was a special night.
Let's go to Greg in Seattle. Greg, you are on the rock.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Greg. Welcome to the show, buddy. What you got?
Well, one of my favorite subjects is that question your first caller asked was going back in time for concerts, and twofold, but the first is answering that question for myself. I was going to the Art Institute in Seattle as a student way back when, and grunge was just on the rise. I lived downtown on Fifth Avenue, and my buddy from the art school, Zane Hammer, good guy, he's like, I've been doing some artwork for this band. You have to come see them. They're friggin' amazing. And I was like, well, no problem, but what's their name? And he's like, I'll tell you later. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. I was curious. A couple hours later, I'm like, what's this band we're going to? He's like, dude, you're going to laugh. It's a weird name. I was like, what? He said, their name's Pearl Jam. I was like, okay, well, that is a weird name. So come to the concert at the Mural Amphitheater under the Space Needle. I think they called it Pain in the Grass. Way back.
Old school way.
Oh yeah, that was our old school Pain in the Grass. Yeah.
Yeah, and Pearl Jam. I was basically amongst 200 people watching Pearl Jam play.
Isn't that insane?
Live, and this was about maybe a week or 2 weeks before 10 was released.
Yeah. Wow.
And I am not going to lie to you, it was the most unreal and blessed experience I've ever lived.
Dude, I've watched this video. There's bootlegs of it on YouTube. If you just type in Pearl Jam Mural Amphitheater, you'll find the full show.
Look at Eddie.
I've watched it so many times. That's so crazy that you got to be there for that show because it's epic.
Eddie is so young in that video. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I was 15 feet, if that, from Eddie Vedder screaming, "Why go home?" at my face. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I don't want to go home. Keep
Seriously.
playing.
You're right. Why go home?
And Greg, I mean,
so crazy.
You know how amazing it is now just because of what the band has become. And granted, you had a great time then, but I mean, if you had any idea like what they would have become, wow.
Precisely that's why I would want to go back and revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool just to see some of this footage where it's like old school Eddie, where he's like climbing up on the monitors at one point, just doing his thing, just feeling the crowd.
Yeah. And is that Mike right there, too? Is that because, I mean, he's got this huge mop.
Stone is the one that you're probably seeing.
Oh, okay. All righty. There's Eddie.
Yeah, so there's Stone. There's Jeff with his crazy hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a really cool show. It's a trip. It's like a time capsule.
Oh, my God.
That's Stone right
Stone.
there. Yep.
Whoa. These are babies. They're little babies.
Yeah.
Wow, they look so young. Oh, man, that's nuts.
Yeah, it would be fun to go back and enjoy those songs for what they are now, which are these timeless, classics for a lot of us.
Yeah.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. It's the listeners on the loose. You pick the topic, you guide the show. 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999.
It's a very simple but odd question, but someone wanted to know, if there's one bug that you could get rid of off the planet forever, which bug would it be?
Ooh.
Spiders, maybe just because of how it affects my wife. Like even this morning, I got a text with a spider in the house, and I'm just like, oh, of course. Why can't it just be when I'm there? Because then it's just like full meltdown mode. I think she's finally gotten to the point where she can handle it. Like she killed it with a Swiffer.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like up in the ceiling, so she's not that tall to reach it, and it's just like I'm torn on that one. But then also just the simple housefly, and the reason being is. The housefly freaks Lulu out to the point where she has like shakes and panting and loses her mind. And like she has, unless she witnesses us killing the fly, she's all messed up for a while. And it's like,
really?
Yeah, dude. Like one time we thought we got it. And I grabbed it, threw it in like a napkin and threw it away. And then we opened up the cabinet that has our garbage in under the sink. And the fly came out like it resurrected. Oh, my God. And like all of a sudden, Lulu went back into the shakes mode. So I think I might go with the simple housefly.
Wow.
It's, dude, to the point where like we have to use CBD for her. Especially when a fly is in the house. Because you try your best to keep a fly from coming into your house, but it's inevitable when you open a door.
I never heard of that with dogs, that's a reaction they can have to flies.
The sound. Because we watched a cartoon. I think it might have been Masha and the Bear, one of those episodes, whatever we were watching. And there was a fly in the episode. And when we heard the sound, freaked the F out again.
Oh, and of course their ears pick up better.
And I'm trying to explain, I'm like, that's on the TV, we're fine, but she doesn't
she understands you.
Doesn't understand?
Normally she does. I don't understand. Steve always has great conversations with her. I didn't.
Yeah, so I'm going with the housefly. Let my wife suffer with the spiders. It's fine.
Yeah, the fly. But there's a list actually. People were asked about this, about why they can't sleep, and it's because of all the bugs. Like people say that they can't sleep. 7 out of 10 people say they can't sleep at all if they know there's a bug in the house. And so we lose like 36 hours of sleep a year because of it.
My wife will be like that way if she knows there's a spider in the house.
I was going to say, I feel like if I still lived in New Mexico, my number one answer would be the cockroach. Because for some reason, there were so many cockroaches, especially during the summer. Like, you would turn on the light outside, and you would just see them scatter.
Cockroaches are a mood killer.
It was terrible.
They're worse.
I haven't seen any here, knock on wood, in Seattle, though. So since I live here now, I'm going to go with Steve on the spiders.
Yeah. Although somebody brought up a point that spiders are a big part of helping. What do they say? If you get rid of spiders, the rest of the bugs in the world will take over without spiders to keep them in control.
It's true.
That's why, as much as I hate spiders, I'm afraid of them. I'm okay with them because they do a good job taking care of us. So I try to be homies with them. But the one that I cannot stand, and I had problems with recently, and I had to call the exterminator, are ants.
Oh, those little sugar ants?
Yes. And they're just popping up everywhere.
Texture says ants, 100%, no hesitation.
And even if you're looking at them and you take care of them, whatever, you feel itchy. You feel like they're on you at all times for days. No.
Yep. One of the more entertaining things, I mean, it's a feel bad saying. Here we go. At our old house, we had one time we had an ant infestation where it was just they just kept, and my wife was like you, just couldn't handle it. So for hours, she's just standing there killing them all. And I'm like, we got to get this a trap. Part of me is
going to take a while.
I'm like, how long do I go until I go to the store and get one of the traps? Because I'm like, how long is she going to do this for?
Immediately, yeah.
Right? It was oh my gosh.
Although we did train my little brother, though. He knows, bug, and then he would just point at it. He didn't know he was killing them, but he'd be like, bug, and just start smushing them. So I can let you borrow him if you ever need him.
Somebody says, what about the mosquito, the most deadly animal on the planet?
Yeah, I hate mosquitoes, too.
Yeah, that's my number one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's funny because we really don't have a lot here. At least I don't run into many.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just know that there's a lot of places around the country that I don't want to live in just because they have bad mosquito seasons. And if they weren't there, I'd be like, Houston. It's we got buddies in Houston. It's yeah, but I hear their mosquito season in the summers are just bad.
Massachusetts. That's where they're bad. I took Lily out and we were just walking down by a river one time, and I was like, why do my legs itch all of a sudden? And just probably about 15 bumps, and I was like, oh yeah.
And then once you start itching those, it's it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I grew up there, Danny, and that's why, those screened-in porches and screened-in anything was everybody had it because it was kept out those bastard mosquitoes.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so that's my number one. Ants is number 3, by the way. Cockroaches is actually the number 1 for everybody in the world, in the country. They, because a cockroach does, like you said, Steve, it's a mood killer. I mean, you automatically think that something's dirty when you see a cockroach.
Because it is. Because it's nasty.
That's when we were, anytime we're looking for a hotel, especially in Hawaii, it was so hard because it seems like they're everywhere. And my wife, if one person gave a bad review about a hotel room because there was a cockroach in it, that hotel is done to us.
Oh, yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And spiders technically aren't bugs, but they put them on the list. They got they're their own thing.
Oh, okay. They're bending the rules with this list, apparently.
They're bending the rules with this list. But, spiders came in at number 2.
What about bees?
Bees. Bees you need.
Yeah, I like bees.
Bees are awesome.
It's the wasps that are jerks.
Bees are not awesome when they sting you.
Just leave them alone.
I've never been once stung by a bee.
Same.
What?
Ever.
No, I've been chased by bees before.
I got stung by a bee. I'm pissed off at the whole park I go in because it's the bee just came at me. I wasn't bothering it.
I've been stung by yellow jackets, but I think that's pretty much like a bee, right?
Oh,
Isn't that a hornet?
It's a wasp or hornet or sort of thing like that.
Well, you got the 3. That's the 3. They're 7, 8, and 9 on the list. Bees, wasps, hornets, just like that. They're all of them with stingers. Get out.
Get out.
What about cicadas? Isn't that the new thing now?
Well, every 17 years,
aren't they? Pretty much.
I thought they were only in the South.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the country. We don't need to worry about
and
them.
They just scream.
We had them in Florida, and they are. It's maddening to see something that big flying at your head.
Another one.
It's like a big black, just what is this oblong thing buzzing around? Oh.
So it's a no mention of ticks. Maybe not common, but man, they suck when you get one.
Yeah,
pun intended.
And I guess ticks are also, I didn't know this, they're also technically arachnids, but they're on the list. They're number 6.
Also, how about, I don't know if you guys, I've never heard them up here, but crickets at night.
Oh, crickets? I think we hear crickets out here, yeah.
Just because of the noise?
I've never heard I mean, they used to keep me up in New Mexico just at night. And
Crickets?
If you kept
I like
the
their
window
sound.
open. Oh, yeah, not me.
Crickets and frogs. It's just kind of peaceful.
Right? It's like summer's here. You're out
Live next to a swamp.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
loud, though.
Yeah.
If they're super loud, like Danny says, though, they can be freaking annoying. Yeah.
Lakewood Larry with the text of the day.
Yeah.
Said, Vicky, if you have a problem with ants, invite BJ over to take care of them. #anteater.
Well.
Oh, that's the text of the day, Steve? Really? Of all the texts we've had, huh? That qualifies.
That's my vote.
I mean,
Make a trophy
we
for
still
that.
have about 5 more minutes. You never know what might come in.
All right. Well, Danny can get mosquitoes on his taint. I hope he gets them for the rest of his life.
That's
Oh, wow.
rude.
Yeah, and wasps and bees and hornets for the rest of you.
For the rest of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Someone said get a Ziploc bag full of water hanging from the top of your doorway and flies won't fly under it. Huh? Why?
That's weird.
Huh?
Like, what is the logic behind that? I'm not opposed to trying it, but so a Ziploc bag full of water, hang it from the top of your doorway, and the flies won't fly under it.
So it means they won't come into your house?
Yeah.
Okay, why do I feel like we'll be idiots when we
That
do
would
this?
just be a weird look, like when people come over and you just have like a Ziploc bag hanging from your doorway.
Quick Google search says some insist flies perceive the clear liquid as the surface of a body of water. Others say that they fly away at the sight of their own magnified reflection. But basically, nobody really knows.
Yeah.
They
Apparently,
just don't like water.
On Mythbusters' website, apparently it was busted.
Oh.
So it
It doesn't work?
Doesn't work.
What?
Ha! Look at that. Well, I was just also it's a great prank for your friends, especially if the bag falls.
Yeah, Snopes says unproven, so doesn't look like it's a thing.
Well, Mythbusters beat Snopes to the punch because it's unproven completely.
Yeah.
Well, how are we going to prove it? Like, how do you prove something like that?
You do it.
Do
You see
we
what
have like
happens.
we have a housefly whisperer that knows how to speak their language?
That's it. Oh yeah, you talk to the flies. So what's up, buddy? First, you got to get
What's up,
obviously
buddy?
what flies love, and that means you're going to have to you got a dog, Steve. So go out there while Lulu's doing her business and have a conversation with your fly buddies.
There you go.
Yeah, she has
Well,
no
they're at
problem
the
with the
buffet.
flies outside. It's just when they come into the house.
That's her territory.
But they start outside, Steve. I mean, you got to go where they are before they go where you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is the fly the only thing she's scared, or like if another bug comes in, does she scared of those?
No issues with any other bugs.
Got to be the noise.
Yeah, it has to be the noise.
Steve
You know which
said.
one? I try not to get too annoyed by them, but like slugs. Because I kind of feel bad for them. They're, like ugly and slow.
Are they a bug?
Slugs.
I don't know. I mean, but is a spider a bug? Like,
No, they're not.
We're doing
They're
make
not.
'em ups at this point, right?
That's a good point. You know what I really can't stand? Elephants. I mean,
Come on.
Well, I mean,
can't get to
technically
sleep.
slugs are not insects.
yeah, and I mean,
but it's like
I
an
can't-
insect.
It is like
Is it?
an insect.
Because it's on the ground? All right. You know what, man? I'll tell you what.
'Cause it's
Those
gross?
possums, man.
All right.
And those bunnies are just
Well, what
too
the hell
much.
is a slug?
It
What
belongs
is
to
this?
the Philium mollusca family,
Excuse
Like
me.
Vicky knows.
Okay.
It's a family.
but it's more closely related to octopi than insects.
What,
Oh,
really?
It's like
Yeah.
a kraken? Octopus. Wow,
right?
it's
It
a
could
kraken.
be like mini land kraken.
He likes them now.
Now I like them. That should be our mascot, Stevie the Slug.
Steve the
land
Slug.
kraken.
And he just slowly skates on the ice.
See, I told you the octopus is taking over the world, so it's starting with the slug. They finally have an air-breathing creature to come take us over.
Can a man in a slug costume ride the Zamboni, please?
Yes. And he's like a slug trail.
Yeah.
Ow. Have the Zamboni look like a slug.
Dude, yes.
Oh, man.
Okay.
We're just giving out these great ideas for free.
Oh,
Yeah, we are.
We need
There's a reason for that.
What?
They're not great ideas.
Oh.
You telling me that if a giant slug came out to clean the ice at a hockey game, you wouldn't be pretty pumped?
I would be totally pumped.
I would probably have a few beverages in me, so of course, why wouldn't I be pumped over anything that they bring
there
out?
you go. Yeah, perfect.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. Can I leave things off of a bankruptcy, like my car?
You have to list all of your assets and creditors when you file bankruptcy. So you would have to tell the court and the trustee that you have the car or that you have a car loan. You could say that I want to keep my car and continue to make my payments on the car. But the court will need to know that you have a car and that you may have a payment on the car. So by leaving it off the bankruptcy, if you mean that you cannot disclose it to the court, the answer to that is no, you must disclose it. However, that does not mean that you'll lose those assets. You'll be able to keep things like a car and a house in almost all cases, but you must disclose them to the court. But you'll need to continue to make payments on a house or a car that you intend to keep.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.